Elementary music teacher friend, you love what you do, but you might feel unappreciated and, in fact, unseen some days. You may even feel like you're on a music teacher island and just want to connect with other music teachers who can relate to both your struggles and wins when it comes to teaching elementary music. I get you and understand completely the feelings you're having. That's why each and every week, the Elementary Music Teacher Podcast will provide you with solo and guest episodes that will help you realize you're not alone in your music teaching journey. Throughout each episode, my goal is for you to be able to walk away with actionable steps and ideas to help you feel like you're ready to take on the new week with whatever challenges may be thrown your way. Hi, I'm your host, Jessica Peresta, and I'm so glad you're here. Whether you're at home, in your car, in the shower, or wherever else you're listening, grab your cup of coffee or whatever other beverage is nearby and listen in to the Elementary Music Teacher Podcast. I want you to take a deep breath with me. I know this sounds awkward, but let's do it together. Ready? That is exactly what I do when I begin feeling overwhelmed, like life is going too fast, when I have 1,000 tabs open in my brain and I don't know which one to shut down first. I practice the art of the pause. And in this episode, want to talk to you about what the art of the pause is, how you can practice it in your own life. On episode 303, I talked about dealing with negative coworkers. And I did not mention this in this episode, but one of the things you can also do when dealing with negativity is to practice the art of the pause. And I talked a little bit about that in the episode, but it's practice stopping or pausing before you say something you regret, before reacting, before taking in emotions or feeling something. And it's just practicing pausing. So let's talk a little bit about that. You stop, breathe, and reflect before acting or making decisions. I am the first to own it. Or, I don't know if I'm the first, but I'm the first in my own life, right? I'm me. So I'm going to own the fact that I have been a pretty big failure in this area. I have not always stopped. I've not always taken a deep breath, and I have not always reflected before acting or making decisions. I have reacted to the way someone has treated me. I have gotten a hateful email and have responded quickly and then have regretted sending the email. I have noticed that sometimes when I feel like calling someone and telling them off, the next day I have a change of heart. And that shows me that by sometimes pausing and taking a minute before reacting or responding, 24 hours later, maybe not even that long, your outlook on the situation or you having time to calm down and cool off, or you just being able to stop and take a break helps you to realize, will my words to this person really help? Will my reaction to this person really cause them to change? Will my response to this student behavior really cause it to turn around in the next 5 minutes? Probably not. I'm just speaking from experience here, probably not. So what happens when we practice the art of the pause? When we pause before we react, first of all, you're being the bigger person. You're pausing before reacting. You are not letting anger take a hold of you. You're not letting your emotions drive the way you react to whatever the situation might be. When you take a breath and you let yourself pause and just take a deep breath, kind of like we did at the beginning of this episode, and I'm going to talk about doing that, you're able to calm your body down. You're just taking a minute for yourself, calming down before responding. And also, when we are reflecting, I just gave the example about 24 hours later, you might feel different. Reflect on the situation, think it through. Will my words and my reaction to this really help? So, when we teach ourselves to regulate our emotions and to practice the art of the pause, you can also teach your students to do the same thing. I know we live in a digital age. I have 3 sons of my own, so I'm living this firsthand. And kids don't always know how to regulate their emotions. They're not always taught it. Yes, we talk about SEL and kids are, you know, they are with amazing teachers all day, every day, but they're not always taught this at home. They're maybe being yelled at, or maybe they are just told because I said so. I mean, how many of us can relate to that as a parent? I'm guilty of saying that as a mom. I'm just being honest. But a lot of times kids aren't listened to. They are not given the opportunity to explain themselves. They are not, a lot of times they become defensive because that's just the way they have always been. And so they never have really been taught to stop before reacting, to take a deep breath, reflect on the situation, practice the art of the pause. So you, by practicing that in your own life, get to model that to your students, and then you can teach them that. It's not going to be a perfect situation or perfect, everything's not going to be go perfectly the minute you teach them that, but eventually kids are going to know and they're going to be able to recognize their own emotions and feelings if you start implementing it a little bit more. When you feel like your battery is running dry, that's when it's time to pause and rest. It might mean you leave work at work, you go home right on time. Maybe it's the afternoon of a really hard day and you were planning to do some work and wrap up loose ends after school. I can't tell you how many times that has happened to me. And I'm like, I have so much I need to get done, but I can tell that my battery is finished. The other day, for example, I started feeling really dizzy. And it was one of those days I pushed through. I didn't stop. I barely even ate lunch. I think I gave myself like a 5-minute lunch break. And I am a self-professed workaholic, I will admit it. I started feeling really dizzy, and I thought about, I haven't even really drank a lot of water today. I hadn't taken a lot of breaks. And so I knew I need to log off. I need to go get off of this computer and I need to just take a break. I listened to my body. Do I do that every day? No. Do I work through lunch every day? No. But that day I could tell I wasn't even being effective anymore. So all the tasks I saw staring in front of me, it was just like I wasn't really doing an effective job. I was just going to kind of get through the stuff. So what happened is when I pushed that work I needed to get done to the next day, because I practiced the art of the pause and listened to what my body and mind were telling me I needed, I was way clearer the next day and able to focus and put my best foot forward. Maybe this means when your battery's running dry, it means sitting in your car listening to music for a few minutes in your driveway before walking in the door. I can't tell you the amount of times one of my kids or husband will come outside and I've been out there for maybe 5 or 10 minutes and they're looking at me like, "You good?" And I'm just finishing up a podcast or I'm listening to one or I'm finishing up a song or I'm sometimes sitting there in silence. Not because I don't want to come in and be with my family. I just know I just need a minute. I just need to practice the art of the pause, taking a deep breath. And sometimes the only place I can get quiet is in my car. Okay. Now, if my kids are in there with me, absolutely not. But maybe that's what you need to do. Maybe it is your drive home. Maybe that's when you're practicing the pause. You're just thinking through what just happened, the train wreck of the day, and what just happened? I need to decompress a little bit. Find that time. What does it look like for you? I don't know, but what fills your cup? Maybe it means sitting in your bed, closing your eyes. Maybe you don't have a lot of time after school, but maybe you come home and before you need to make dinner or before you go off to the gym or before you go teach piano lessons or whatever else it might look like in your life, give yourself 10 minutes, maybe even set your alarm. Maybe you're not taking a full nap. If you're anything like me, if I take short naps, sometimes I feel even more tired. I don't know why. But anyways, sometimes I will just close my eyes for a minute or I'll just sit there and take some deep breaths in a quiet, dark room. That sounds creepy, but it's true. So maybe for you, that's what you need to do is just quiet your body, quiet your mind for a minute and just reset so you can get through the rest of your day. Or we all know that when one class leaves and another one's waiting at the door to come in, sometimes you don't even have a minute. You just have like 30 seconds. So I have before, if that was a rough class, I'm like, "Ooh, that was a doozy. What just happened? That was woo, we'll process through that later." And I have a class waiting to come in, sometimes on the way to get my next class at the door, taking some deep breaths. Sometimes I have the kids come in and we change whatever I was going to start class with, and we do these deep breaths together. And sometimes I'm like, let's just close our eyes, guys, for like 20 seconds. Just gonna have a moment of silence. And sometimes that helps me reset. So whatever that looks like for you, I want you to start practicing the art of the pause in your life, in your classroom, after school, before school. Think about what you need. I think it's so important. I think a lot of overwhelm in teaching obviously comes from teaching. It comes from all the things that are involved in teaching, but it also comes from the fact that life is busy. Your work and your home life, it is just constant. And so a lot of times we don't have a lot of downtime. We don't have a lot of time to pause or to rest. So you have to be intentional about those moments. So figure out in your day, what does that look like, and go ahead and do that. I'll see you next week with another episode. Have an amazing week.
Well, hey there. Thank you so much for listening into the Elementary Music Teacher Podcast. There is an exclusive Facebook group just for listeners of this podcast and any elementary music teacher called the Elementary Music Teacher Community Facebook group. Come on over and join us there, where we have conversations around the podcast episodes and encourage each other each and every week. And also head to my website, thedomesticmusician.com. I have some free resources there that you can download to help you gain traction in your classroom today, as well as the blog and the membership site and all kinds of other goodies to help you keep going in your music teaching journey. I cannot wait to keep connecting with you and encouraging you and spurring you on in your journey of teaching elementary music. Hang in there, have an amazing week, and I will see you soon.